Hello and welcome back to Glamorous by Amaris channel. Welcome to all those who are new and welcome back to everyone who has been joining me on this journey. So today I'm back to show you how I do my full coverage foundation look. I hope it's something that you guys enjoy. I have gotten a request a long time ago for an updated foundation look and I have changed how I do things, and this is what I go for when I have an event, a photo, a long day where I have to look nice, something where I know I can't touch up my makeup and I need it to last for hours. I resort to what I'm going to show you, okay? So if you want to see how I create this look, then just keep on watching. Love you. Okay, as you can see, the eyes are already done because that is not the focus of the tutorial. We are going to focus on my face, okay? So I hope I have you guys zoomed in enough. I still need to kind of hold down my edges here, girls. You know how that is, okay? And we are going to jump in with my updated foundation routine. Mind you, this is not something I do every single day. I actually prefer this when I need full coverage, usually for an event or a photo, or if I'm just kind of feeling that I need that extra coverage. Maybe I can come on here another time and show you guys when I do a very quick get ready and go. But today, honey, we are going to be fully slayed, all right? So let's start with primer. So to be honest with you, I left the primer that I wanted to use over at my other vanity, but that's okay. I'm going to use an OG today, and that is the Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. And yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie, and it's very, very moisturizing. And even for my oily skin, it's really wonderful. And what I'm going to do, because I am on the oilier side, is take a very, very thin layer of my Laura Mercier powder. And this is the translucent powder in medium deep. And I'm just going to focus this around my T-zone. Again, just being super light-handed and pressing it in. More so around my nose, usually where the foundation breaks up the most. So the foundation of choice that I'm going to be using today is my Dior Forever foundation. This is beautiful. It is on the pricier side, but it gives such a beautiful canvas. I have not tried a Dior foundation that I do not like. I think it's a great investment. I absolutely love it. And the shade I am in is 050. So I'm going to take this on my Morphe E6 brush. I love this brush. It's nice and flat, and I just find that it's perfect for foundation. So I'm just going to put about 3.5 dots directly on my brush. Going to dot that on my face, and then I'm just going to go ahead and buff it in. Just look at that color. Oh, I just love this foundation. Make sure you bring it down your neck. So as you can see, I'm kind of avoiding my under eye area. I'm going to go back with concealer, and I find that if I just leave it blank, it won't look so cakey when I put the concealer and then the powder on top of it. So I'm really packing it into my cheeks, and then with whatever's left on the brush, I'm just kind of swiping down to make sure I get my chin and my neck. I usually don't need too much coverage on the forehead, but I am of course going to pack color in. Being very careful, trying to preserve my edges here. And then with whatever's remainder, I'm just kind of pushing that into my ears. Okay, next let's hop into our concealer. So for my concealer today, I'm going to use one of my absolute favorite holy grails, and that is my Nars concealer. This is the Comfort Matte. Ladies, if you are oily and you found that the natural radiant creamy concealer was not working for you, hop on this here. It is so amazing. I'm almost out, but I absolutely love it. I use it every day, literally. And the shade that I'm taking is medium dark caramel. And I'm going to actually use an eyeshadow brush, and this is the Morphe E22. I find that it picks it up and disperses the concealer really nicely on my face. So I'm just going to coat my whole brush, and I'm just going to start placing that underneath my eye. And then I bring it down so it's around my nose. And off of one dip, I can do underneath an eye completely and around my whole nose before I have to dip again. You can see it's really close to my skin complexion, but I really like that because I find that it just looks more natural when everything is done. I don't know, I like a concealer that's really close to my skin tone. It's only like barely a shade lighter, but I prefer that. So I'm bringing it down to my chin. I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover that. And then in the middle of my forehead, and I have a little bit of dark spots on my cheeks, so any little other area that you want to conceal as well. The key to a concealer really covering, you want to let it set a little bit. One of my artists taught me that, and he said that when you let it sit, it kind of starts to dry in a sense, and then when you blend it away, it's not really going away. I hope I'm explaining that right. You have more opacity versus just blending it out and it just being a sheer coverage. I don't let it sit too long, but I don't just immediately go back in and just blend. The place where I want the most opacity is underneath the eyes, so I can actually just go ahead and go in, and I'm actually going to take my same foundation brush and start to pat that concealer on my chin because I don't need extreme coverage, so I can start to blend it in here. And same thing with around my nose and the forehead, and the last spot that I'm gonna hit will be underneath my eyes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and still stick with the same brush. You can go ahead with a beauty blender. I like to get started with a brush, just the packing motions, and it still gives such a beautiful airbrush finish. I feel like brushes took a back seat for a very long time because of the beauty blender, but I actually prefer using them when it comes to my foundation and my concealer. And I'm going to go ahead and go on with some cream contour. I don't do cream contour every single day, but again, we are doing a high coverage, super snatch look. So we're going to cream contour today. And I'm going to use my Iman foundation stick, and I believe this is the shade Earth 7. It's a beautiful warm brown. It has a cooler undertone, so it's perfect for contour. My places that I'm going to contour today is going to be my cheeks, underneath my chin, and then my forehead. This is a very thick foundation stick, so I don't want it to dry down too much. So I'm going to go ahead and start blending it away. And my tool that I'm using is my MAC 110 brush. It's a very thick, fully dense angled kabuki brush, and it's perfect for cream contour. So you can see that I'm really just taking my time, and I'm going to push this product in, and I'm pushing it in upward motions. And then with whatever's left on the brush, I'm just going to push it by the hairline. It's really taking my time going back and forth. And if it's too rough right here, which happens a lot in the beginning of the contour, I'm just going to take my foundation brush and just buff over right where that contour starts, just to kind of help with the blending so it's not so rough. You want it to look seamless, just like so. Now let's go ahead and do the other cheek so you can see the before and the after. A very nice finish. I love what cream contour does. So I'm going to continue and carve out the rest of my face. So when it gets down to my chin, you can see where I have it underneath. I really am kind of heavy under here because I like to create a shadow for it to look really chiseled. So I'm just really pressing it in to create a lot of darkness down there, and that'll really define that jawline. So most of the product I placed was right here, and I'm using that same product, and as I press it in, I just go ahead and go up my jawline. So I don't need to add too much. I just focus most of it here and then just push it on up and in. until it's all blended away. And that's just gonna create a shadow for me that's going to help define my cheeks, but not to where it's so harsh to where it's obvious that I have all this contour happening. Oh, and can't forget my forehead. This is optional, obviously, based on those who need it or don't, but I got a big old forehead and I'm going to contour it. So I'm just pushing it in. Perfect. Of course, everything you do with liquid, you need to set with powder. So I'm going to start with setting my under eyes. And I'm going to take my Fit Me powder in the shade Toffee. And I'm actually going to take a damp beauty blender, dip it on into Toffee, and go ahead and set underneath my eyes. Now, this is something I love using the beauty blender for. Setting areas, because I find that the coverage you get from packing it in is just unmatched. Now, if you want more sheer coverage, of course, feel free to use a brush. But when it comes to me, or most oily skin people, we need to really set everything down. And the Beauty Blender just does that for me. I'm just going back on all the high points of my face and just setting it with the Toffee color. Just like so. So with the rest of my face, I'm going to again take my Mercier powder, my little powder puff, and I'm just going to start packing it in. So underneath my contour, over my chin. You don't need too much of this. A little bit goes a very long way. Of course, the neck. I leave a little bit extra by my nose because my nose loves to break free with oil first. So I leave a little bit of powder there just to sit there while I finish up my face, and then I'll sweep it away at the end. This specific foundation look has gotten me through plenty of many, special occasions. Times where I needed makeup on for a very, very long time. Times I know I can't touch up. This is what I go for, and this has always helped me. Next, we're going to go ahead and go in with some bronzer. And for my bronzer, I'm using my Tarte contour palette, and this is the 3rd edition. And I'm taking these 2 bronzer shades right here, just mixing them. Normally I use a really bigger brush for this, a much bigger brush for this, but that brush is freshly cleaned right now, so I have to use a smaller one, so hopefully it's not too intense. So just warming up my face. Brush with setting powder. Boom. And I'm just going to take the same brush. Actually, I'm going to take my MAC 140 brush, and I'm going to take this contour shade right here. I'm just going to do one little swipe across, like so. See all the product on there? Top off the excess, and go ahead and emphasize this contour. See, a little bit goes a long way. And without re-dipping it, whatever's left on the brush, just taking that on my jawline. Sorry for my earring. I'm going to do the same thing, just one more dip. Boom. Half a dip, and just carefully go across my head. If you feel that you got a little muddy or that you need to clean it up, you can take whatever powder that you want to use. I'm just going to use the Toffee powder. Just lightly go under, carve out the shape. Kind of tap, make sure everything is nice and blended and not too muddy. I honestly don't want to put on any form of blush because I just want to keep the focus on the eyes. I don't really want to have any other color on my face, but I am going to highlight. And for a highlight, I'm going to start with my Becca Topaz. And I'm just taking that on a Morphe M510 brush. And this gives me such a natural highlight because it's so golden and deep. On deeper skin tones, this would look so amazing as your pop-in highlight. But for me, this kind of sets the base. And then I add a little bit on top. And then I'm going to go on top of my cheekbones just a bit with my Anastasia Beverly Hills So Hollywood. Just to really get it popping. You can see the sun's been streaming through my window. Popping. Okay. Okay, so I just finished off by throwing on a very, very neutral liquid lip. I used Kylie's Brown Sugar, which is my perfect nude, and a little bit of Cork Lip Liner by MAC. But yeah, again, I wanted to keep my focus on my eyes in general. But for you guys, of course, you learned about the face today. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I do my full coverage foundation look. I hope you learned something. And yeah, I love you guys so, so much. Be sure to leave any requests down below and I'll make sure to get it out for you guys soon. Again, I love y'all and have a great day. Bye.